Could the killer of two women, one in Santa Fe, the other in Albuquerque, already be locked up in prison? That's the question detectives are asking. The two cases are linked by the same suspect's DNA. Here's News 13's Crystal Gutierrez.
Jessica, detectives have found 7 inmates still locked up for crimes like murder and rape from the 1980s who have not been forced to submit DNA. Detectives wonder if one of them could be the killer, but they need to collect the inmates' DNA before they can know for sure.
There's about 300 names here. The detective went through every single one of these suspects.
Santa Fe police say a list of hundreds of possible persons of interest is now down to a possible 7. A small group of men originally arrested and locked up in the late 1980s and still locked up today. Detectives want their DNA to see if they could be linked to the 1985 cold cases of Susan Laporte and Maria Padilla, both raped and strangled. Padilla's body was left on a Bosque Trail in Albuquerque. Laporte's was found in Arroyo in Santa Fe. The suspect for both cases had the same DNA. That makes detectives wonder if he's dead or in prison.
Statistics show that if these types of murders and rapes have stopped and the suspect profile has stopped when it comes to victims, that suspect is likely incarcerated.
The 7 inmates police are looking at have been convicted of either rape or murder. Police say none of them have DNA on file.
We are working with the state's legal system. We're working with the Department of Corrections.
But there's a problem. Katie's law, which allows for the collection of DNA from felony suspects, only applies to those arrested after July of 2001. Santa Fe police have contacted the governor's office to look at their options. The governor's office tells us another law requires DNA samples be taken from those convicted on or after July 1997. Those who are still locked up after 1997 are eligible to give a DNA sample. Now Santa Fe detectives are trying to work with state prison officials to make it happen.
These people are already behind bars, already in our custody, have already committed a crime, so it would work in our favor.
The 1997 law applies to those convicted of felonies or sex offenses. The Department of Corrections spoke with their legal department today and says it can legally take DNA samples from the 7 prisoners. DOC says Santa Fe police will need to make a formal request for the samples. Back to you.
Okay, Crystal, there's also a list of about 80 people that have already been released from prison or died that could fit the criteria. Police are looking if they can track down their DNA too.